In this video, I'm gonna show you how to draw this super cool little fox baby, and I'm gonna try and do that in easy to follow steps. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Marlies and you're watching Marlies Draws. So first I'd like to start with showing you my nails, because my 6-year-old daughter Lauren did my nails specifically for this video and they're so really cool. Lauren, ik weet dat je kijkt. Super bedankt voor de gave nagels. So let me know in the comments what you think of them. Also, it's entirely free to subscribe to my channel, so if you like to watch more drawing tutorials in the future, just hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to also hit the bell notification button, because then you get a notification every time I upload a new video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and now without further ado, let's draw! So we're going to start by drawing the head, and the head is actually just going to be a circle. This circle is going to be about 1/3 of the entire body, maybe even a little more because puppies have big heads. And then we're going to draw the shoulders and the left paw. I drew a line where the neck should be, and then it curves a little outward to form the shoulder, and then it curves a little back inward to form the left paw. And then I draw the little paw on it, or the little foot. I actually don't know what the difference between a paw and a foot is, or maybe a paw is a leg. Well, I should look that up. But anyway, for now I just draw the foot as a little ellipse shape, and then we're gonna add details later. So then for the right paw, I'm gonna start with the inside, because then I'm sure it's on the right place, that it's not too far away from the other paw. And I also draw the little foot here, and then we have the 2 front paws and the feet that are supposed to be on there, I guess. So now we have the front part of the body, and then we're gonna sketch the side part of the body, where we start around the point where the neck is again, and then we draw a curve a little more outward than the curve that goes with the front leg. And we're also gonna draw a tail, and it's not gonna be a really big tail because most of the tail is actually hidden behind the body. So then we're gonna draw the face. And you shouldn't really follow what I'm doing right here, because I'm gonna mess up totally. And after I draw the ears, I'm gonna erase the eyes and the nose, and I'm gonna start again. So don't look at this, it's all wrong. I better just skip this and proceed to the ears, and then we're gonna do the face later on. So the ears, I'm gonna zoom in a little on the ears so you can see what I'm doing here. The ears should not be too pointy, because baby foxes have a little more rounded ears, I think, than grown-up foxes. Or maybe not, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but it seems like that. So ears point a little upward and just a little bit outward, but they shouldn't point too much outward. And then on the inside of the ears there should be hairs, usually a bit long hairs. And then I'm just going to erase the face of the fox, and I'm gonna start over, and hopefully this time I'll get it right. So the nose should not be too big, I guess. It's just this little oval shape with the mouth underneath it. So there are the eyes, and as you can see I made them a little bit smaller. It doesn't really matter how big they are, because we're not gonna make a perfectly photorealistic fox. It's just gonna be a cute little fox that you can draw on a rainy Sunday afternoon in an hour or two, and then you can show it off to your family and your friends, like, look what a beautiful fox I make. And it's not going to be perfectly photorealistic, and we're not going to work on it for like 20 hours to render it perfect. Maybe if you want that, we can do that later on in a different tutorial. Just let me know in the comments. But for now we're just going to roughly sketch and shade it. So as you can see, I sketched the eyes, and I also add the irises, where I don't forget to add the highlight, so I can leave that blank when I start shading. So now we're going to the toes, and we're going to add some detail here to the feet. And the first thing we're going to do is just add the toes. And you can simply add the toes by making little lines going from the bottom of the feet to the top. And we're also going to add those toes to the hind legs, hind feet. When I come to think of it, I'm not really sure what paws are. Are it legs or are it feet? I will look it up before next video. So I'm going to start shading. And I'm starting with a dark gray. I'm not picking black right away because that's so dark, and if you start working with light gray, you have a little more room for errors, and as you see, I make a lot of them, like I messed up the entire face, so I figured that sort of a dark mid-tone gray is the right choice to start with. And I'm going to start with making the chest hair, and it's really fluffy. And I wasn't sure how you call these little fluffy hairs, so I had to look it up on Google Translate, and it says the name is tufts of hair. And we're gonna make those tufts of hair on the chest, but also on the sort of elbows, the part where the paws and the chest are touching each other. So all these little lines are going in the direction where the fur is going, and that makes it look more natural. And again, we're not going to draw individual hairs here, we're just going to draw all these strands, these little tufts of hair. So I'm also going to add a little shadow to the insides of the ear here, and I'm not going to use too much pressure. I'm just going to start off really lightly using very light pressure. I don't want it to get too dark right away. I just want to lay down the first layer of fur and actually lay down the direction where the hairs are pointing in. So I'm going to do that virtually everywhere. On the face, on the forehead, where the hairs are always pointing upward. At this point, I'm going in with the black to shade the nose and the mouth, and I better do it right. I'm going to start with the nostrils, because once they are in the right place, it's just a matter of shading around them. And I'm going to shade the mouth, and I'm going to use black and then gray again to kind of bring in the shadows on the downside of the nose, and then the lighter parts on the top side of the nose. And I'm also going to shade the eyes. Just drawing lines around the eyes for starters. And shading the pupils and the irises. And don't forget to leave the highlights out. The highlights should stay white, and it's better to have them as big as possible right now, because you can always make them smaller, but you can't make them bigger. And for the eyes, I'm going to pick blue as a color. And that was just because I thought it was cute, because I know baby cats have blue eyes, and I did found a photo or two on the internet of a baby fox with sort of grayish blue eyes. It wasn't really blue, it was more like gray. And when foxes grow up, they have more like brownish eyes, I think. So I actually don't think this is a realistic color at all, but I thought it was so cute. So now the facial features are in place, I can start by adding some color to the fur. And foxes are of course orange or orangey brown, and I'm going in with a dark orange color right away to shade the parts that should be orange, because not every part is orange. A fox has like these white parts around its beak and around its chest, but well, the main parts of his face are going to be orange. So I'm gonna speed this up a little while I'm drawing all these orange parts. Always draw in the direction of the hair, even when it's not meant to be photorealistic. It just makes it look better. So now the basic orange parts of the face have been laid down. I'm going to put a little more detail into the ears, and be very careful, because you're actually working in a negative way here, because you're leaving the white hairs of the ear out of your drawing. So you're drawing around the white hairs, leaving them white, while you make the background of the ears, or actually the inside of the ears, darker. And do this very carefully. The more layers you put down, the more careful you have to be that you lay down the color on the exact same place you did in the last layer. Because if you're just going to do it randomly, you won't have any hairs left at the end. So be careful where you're putting your pencil. I'm also going to add some gray to the face, because the face of course never is entirely orange. Even the orange parts aren't entirely orange. They have like these brown shades and these gray shades and different types of orange, and maybe a little yellow and maybe a little white. So I'm going in with different colors, and again always following the direction of the hair. Foxes often have some darker parts around their eyes and around their nose, so I'm going to put these in. And the white fur doesn't have to be entirely white. You can use a light gray pencil to add some details to the white fur. So I'm going to put a little more work into the ears with the black pencil, and I'm going to do that carefully again. The back of the ears is black, and you can see those little black patches of fur sticking out. So you have those white ears with the dark inside, and then with something that looks like a black line, but it isn't the black line, it's actually the fur on the back side. And I'm shading around the hairs. I want to keep white again very carefully, just darkening up the inside of the ears. I'm also going to add a little more black around the eyes again, and around the nose and the mouth. So as you can see, it's starting to look like a fox already, but it's still looking a little light. I need to put in way more color, but for now we're gonna continue with the body. And something went utterly wrong again, because I went to the kitchen to get myself a cup of tea and I paused my camera, and then I came back and I started drawing again, and of course I forgot to unpause my camera. So I drew the entire left leg, and then I realized my camera wasn't running and I can't really redo that, so I'll tell you something about the right leg. So the paws of the fox are actually black, and you always have to keep in mind that you don't want to put too much pressure on the black right away, because you need light black parts and dark black parts to bring in really the shapes. As you can see on the left foot, I already drew that the front of the toes is really a little bit lighter, and then there's this really dark part, kind of separates the toes from the leg itself, and then as the fur goes up higher, the black gets a little lighter, and then eventually it blends into the white part of the fur. Also leave out the nails, they shouldn't be black, and you can do that in several ways. You can just draw around them, but you can also draw them in first with a white pencil using a lot of pressure. And then if you shade around or on top of it very carefully and with very light pressure with a black pencil, you're gonna see that the black pencil doesn't put a lot of pigment on the white pencil that well. So you can see where the nails should be and then draw around it anyway. We're going to shade the rest of the fur now using orange, black and grey again. Now this part is rather straightforward. We're always shading in the direction the fur is going. The part underneath the belly should be a lot darker because there's barely any light there, and I'm going to speed up this part of the video because this tutorial is starting to take way too long. Again, this part is fairly easy after you already did the face, ears and paws, so I'm sure you can just follow along. And that's it. The little fox baby puppy child is finished. I just need to sign it. And now I can show it off to my family, to my children. Look, I made a super cute fox. So if you followed along, I hope you liked this tutorial and I hope your baby fox looks super cute. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.